Hello, mermaids and mystics, and welcome to the Sea Witch. If you're new here, my name is Meredith, and we have a full moon coming up in just a couple of days. So I wanted to share with you a magical craft that you can make during this or any full moon, and that is a potent lunar water that I call mermaid water. All right, now we're all cozy on the living room floor. Now you're probably familiar with moon water. That's been around for a while, very popular, simply water that has been charged with the light and power of the moon, usually the full moon. That water's not for you. Nope. And it is used for a number of purposes. Okay, he's going to drink the water. It's used for consecrating tools, for cleansing space, for anointing, for ritual baths, and so on. There's a lot you can do with it. Now, this mermaid water is just the same, can be used in the same ways, but it brings some extra energies. It's a little more specific. Now, the components that make mermaid water are the moon, of course, rose, and a seashell. So first, rose. I have discovered through my practice, both spiritual and magical, that roses have very strong mermaid energy. Mermaids love roses and vice versa. They're both ancient, roses beyond ancient especially, but roses and mermaids have both been powerful symbols to humans for thousands of years. Both are perfect representations of the divine feminine. Both can be used for healing or cursing. There are lots of associations with magic in general and beauty, and the list goes on. So roses and mermaids, a great pairing. And then finally, there is the seashell. You're also probably familiar, I've got a kitty under here, with gem elixirs, which is water, which is charged with some kind of crystal. Now, if you want to get into that, if you look into gem elixirs, if you want to ingest them, just be careful because there are some crystals that are not suitable to make gem elixirs if you want to ingest them. And this water you can ingest this. Now, whether you make a big amount, like to use a lot of it in baths or just a little bit, either way, don't let it sit around forever because water in jars eventually is going to get kind of funky. So anyway, gem elixirs use crystals, and the idea here for mermaid water is using a seashell instead of a crystal to make basically a seashell elixir. Because all shells, like crystals, different meanings, different energies, different uses. So that brings all your different mermaid and ocean energy, but also, of course, rose, which is so versatile and potent. Rose is kind of my go-to all-purpose magical ingredient. It's just so good for so many different things. It's so versatile. So I highly recommend using it in lots of different applications. So let's go ahead and make this. Here's just a little jar. And you want to use, you can use either all straight rose water. Rose water is not cheap though, so you might not want to use a lot of it straight. What you can do simply is take some water, clean, purified, filtered, spring water, good water, and some rose water. You'll get plenty of it in there if you just dilute it. And then you want to choose your seashell. It doesn't matter what order you do this in, actually. You can start with your rose product or your shell. Here, let's see. Let's look at some different shells with some different meanings. We've got a calico scallop. Scallops in general are great for love, self-love, sweet healing love, and friendship. Scallops are strongly associated, of course, with Venus. What else have we got? Let's see, a scroll shell. These are associated with learning, ancient learning, wisdom, inherited ancestral wisdom. Funny you picked that one. One of the best ones to use that, kind of like rose, is multi-purpose, very powerful, very lunar, of course, is the moon snail shell. The moon snail is obviously very lunar, looks like a nice, big, round, bright full moon. So I would like to use this one. This is one that I highly recommend. You just get that in the water in there. Now, you can incorporate some color magic. Use natural plant-based food dye. let's say to make it like a nice rosy pink color, just add 1 or 2 drops of food coloring, and you bring in that corresponding energy, that magic with whatever. Use any color, not just a rosy color. But here's something else you can do that covers a couple different bases. You can use for color and as your for your rose. If you don't have or can't get rose water, there's lots of different rose things that you can use. You can use crushed rose hips and just put some of that in there, and eventually that's going to steep and give you that beautiful color. So you'll have not only the rose energy and the rose flavor, but also the color. Now, obviously, that's not going to happen anytime soon. That's going to take a while for the color to get in there. You can also add rose petals or whole rose buds. Not only does that look beautiful, but that's just something else, ouch, claws, that you can use. Come on, this little guy. Definitely not my familiar, I don't think. Seems like he wants to participate in things, but I mean, he just wants to be involved with absolutely everything. Anyway, yes, roses, rose hips, strain them once it's done. So then you would take this, you've got your water, maybe it's got rose water, maybe not. You've got your shell, you've got maybe your rose hips if you use that, or your whole rose buds. And then you just want to put this outside if you can. It doesn't have to be outside, but outside is ideal. Right next to a window. What is most ideal is moonlight hitting it. Now, obviously, that's not always going to be easy or possible for everyone. But if you at least put it outside or by the window, the idea is that it will still absorb that full moon energy, even if the direct light doesn't actually hit it. Although, again, that's what you ideally want if you can get it. And then once your rose water is ready, I have a crazy cat attacking me on my lap. Again, you can use that for all the different things that we mentioned before that you can use moon water for. Ouch. Okay. Anyway, I hope that was fun to learn about. I hope maybe, Jesus Christ. I hope you give that a try. Let me know in the comments if you do, if you've got a favorite seashell that you want to use, or anything else that you can think of that is interesting and relevant to this. This kitty has totally broken my brain right now. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me, you guys. Hope to see you next time.